Good afternoon. Y'all want to come on up and we'll... Good afternoon. I hope you can hear over all the traffic. So we want to say thank you to those of you that have had the opportunity to stop by today. I'm Janice Gilley, Escambia County Administrator, and we want to welcome you to today's groundbreaking ceremony for the new Bellevue Library. Today with me, I have Vice Chairman and County Commissioner Jeff Bergosh. I have West Florida Public Library Director Todd Humble, Escambia County School Board Member Kevin Adams, and Escambia County School. We have lots of 3rd and 4th graders that are the top nonfiction readers at Bellevue Elementary, and we're so thankful to have you all to participate today. We have Michelle White with us. She's the county's coordinator of media services, and library services fall under her. We also have Michelle Brown, who is the media specialist at Bellevue Elementary. So thank you all for joining us. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Vice Chairman Commissioner Bergosh, who had this dream and this vision, and I'd like him to share with you that journey that he's been on to bring this to fruition.
Thank you, Janice. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, what a beautiful day we got today, huh? How about this? It never seems to work out this way, but it probably has something to do with all the students being here. So because you're here today, look at this great weather you brought with you. Thank you so much for doing that. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, students. Well, District 1 of Escambia County, I'm the commissioner, but prior to that I was your school board member in District 1, and one of the things that I always wanted to see happen in District 1 was for us to have our own public library. We're the only district of 5 that did not have one. We've got a lot of great schools like Bellevue Elementary, Bellevue Middle, and all the schools in District 1, but we didn't have a public library. So it's been a long, long process. And so there's a lot of folks that worked hard to make sure that we had the funding available and the resources in order to bring this all to fruition. So I want to take a minute to thank the Library Board of Governance. The vision, if you're a Board of Governance member, please raise your hand and be recognized. Thank you. Let's give it up for them. Let's give it up. These folks are in charge of all the libraries, and they make the budgeting decisions, and they set aside enough money for us to be able to get started on this project. And then the county contributed a lot of money as well as District 1, our discretionary funds. So altogether we spent about $700,000 to buy this 4-acre property. One of the things I like about taking this 4-acre property and doing what we're doing with it is we're taking what was a blighted building that wasn't being used, and we're now going to repurpose it for a good use. Instead of building brand new, we're repurposing. So that's a good thing. The other thing I like about this property is that there's plenty of space. So once we're all done building this brand new library and putting the parking in and the stormwater retention, there's still room, and there's some more things that we're intending to do with this property. So hopefully, eventually, it will be more than just a library. So thank you to the Board of Governance. I want to thank the county's acquisition staff. Cassie Boatwright from Facilities was instrumental. Paul Nobles is no longer with us with the county, but he was instrumental in putting this out to bid. I want to thank Administrator Gilley for her leadership in bringing this one in. It was a long process, but we bought the property. I want to thank Stoa Architects, who have put together really a fantastic design for this library. If you haven't seen the pictures yet, or the renderings, you can go online and you can see a video fly through it. It's going to be amazing. 11,000 square feet. It's going to have meeting rooms, conference rooms, computers, the latest literature for you, places for the community to meet. It's going to be a tremendous, tremendous asset. So thank you to all the county staff. I want to thank my counterparts in the Escambia County School District for supporting this event. Principal Groff, thank you for being here with your students. And I want to thank all the AR Points, the top AR Point students for being here. This is going to be great. How many of you guys want to help me turn dirt with shovels? Raise your hand if you want to. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. That's actually going to be my favorite part of the ceremony today. But I thank every member of the public that's here today. This 1 year from now, we're going to do a ribbon cutting, and I'm going to tell you, I can't wait to do that. That's going to be an amazing day to walk through. You can't see the vision yet, but a year from now, we will see the vision, and it's going to be an amazing day for Escambia County, for the students, the citizens of District 1. So I thank everyone for being here today. And I would be remiss if I did not thank the next speaker who has put his heart and soul into this project. And I really want you to give it up for him. He is very passionate about libraries. So please give it up for the director, Todd Humble. Thank you, Todd, for being here.
Okay, first thing I want to do though is Bellevue students. I want to throw you a few things. I want you to answer me what you think. So, first word pops in your head. Color red. Yell it out. Huh? Red Bull? No, not Red Bull. Okay, what do you have for traffic controls? What is red? Red light. Okay, what about yellow? What about blue? What's blue do? Okay, that thing up there. Well, let me just talk to you a little bit about colors, and then we'll talk about the actual library. So, I think most of you know about 80% of what we perceive in life comes from our vision. And from that vision, we then interpret what it is we're looking at and how we're seeing it. Now, when you think of colors, the ones you see in nature most often are greens and blues. And these colors, they're calming to people. You have nature. When you see green, you become relaxed. You will see a lot of greens and blues in this facility when it is done. Now, the angular designs on the building. If you think about straight lines, up and down, horizontal, you see the sunset, horizon, straight up and down, you think of strength, sturdiness. But angles, there's people that, what's this angle for? So if I do this angle, what do you think of? If I go like that, flying? Okay. So what if I draw this? Okay, could be rainbows. What if you do this? Smiles. So shapes actually influence how you think. And when you see something that's complex, like if you see a star, what do you think? Stars in the sky. So angles are actually important too. And it's been shown that understanding angles will help improve your geometry skills. But now, enough about the various features in the building. The actual building, the bank itself, is where our community room is, so the public can use it after hours. It's also where our programming events will be for youth, our meal service in the summers. It'll be a multi-purpose room anybody in the public can use when it's not being used for library programs. The actual library is going to be designed as flexible space. Majority of the books will be stored along the walls. And then we will have some center shelves that are on rollers. And the reason we're putting them on rollers is we will lock the wheels for most of the time. But if we have a big event inside and we need more space, we will just push the shelves to the side of the room and open up the room. So in reality, we'll have ability to do 3 separate large events at the same time. We'll have the adult section that starts from the middle of the library, going towards the parking lot. The youth section, starting at the middle, going towards Bellevue Elementary. And then also the community room itself. The Friends of the Library, they've been around for quite a while, and they've helped support us with materials. They will have a space in the library as well where you'll be able to get good condition used books or ones that are new that have been donated to them. And those funds are put back into the library to support our summer reading and other programs. Overall, the goal of this library is to make sure you have a place that encourages growth, entertainment, education, having new experiences. We know with COVID, we've not been having our programs. That'll come to an end eventually. By the time we open this library, we plan to reestablish our leadership in the county, actually in the state of Florida. And by leadership, I mean we were actually, year before last, 5th in the state for family programming, beating out Jacksonville, other larger cities. We do plan to be back at that point by next year. So I would like to go ahead and introduce the school board chair, Kevin Adams.
Just a slight correction, I'm vice chair.
Sorry.
Hey, I'm Kevin Adams, school board member for District 1. It's an honor and privilege to attend the opening of this new library for District 1. We know that the public libraries are important cornerstones of strong communities and guarantee equal access to knowledge. This new library will provide resources and services that will create additional opportunities for learning, increase literacy, and education for our students. Studies have shown reading books to very young children indeed contribute meaningful to a favorable home literacy environment and supports children's language development. Providing local access to books for parents, grandparents, caregivers encourages our children to become lifelong learners. I am glad this library will provide that quiet, safe place that can be used for students to read, study, or complete homework assignments and have reliable internet access. Within a short distance of this library are 6 schools with approximately 3,997 K-12 students. Overall, District 1 has 11 schools currently serving approximately 7,307 K-12 students. This new library will provide access to students during those evenings, weekends, holidays, and summer breaks. The superintendent and the school board congratulate Commissioner Bagosh and his fellow commissioner for providing this valuable resource for our students and the community. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to invite Sheriff Chip Simmons up.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin mentioned a lot about literacy and reading and the values, and that's what I'm here to talk about a little bit about partnerships with the Sheriff's Office and the library and the County Commission, because increased reading and better literacy also leads to better employment, and better employment leads to reduction in crime. Everyone knows that. These are the things that are important to us as a community. It's not just about the kids, but it's about the kids' parents. It's about the neighborhoods that they grow in. It's about their aunts and uncles. It's about generation after generation. I could talk about generation because years ago, right across the street there, I was in 4th grade. What grade are the kids in?
3rd and 4th.
3rd and 4th grade. I was in that same grade. Loved to read. In fact, that was me and my 2 friends were in a space club. We didn't have a formal space club, but we were our own space club. So I went to my teacher, Miss Lindsay. I said, Miss Lindsay, I need this book on space travel. And she says, I'm sorry, Chip. I went by Chip back then even. And she said, we don't have a book over here, but we may have it at the middle school. Well, the middle school terrorized me because there was just a big open field between the elementary school and the middle school. And middle school students had mustaches. The boys did. And I didn't want to go over there. So I missed the next day of school because I was afraid she was going to send me over there to get this book. She did not. She was nice enough to go and get the book, and they had a partnership. So my point is, partnerships are important. Partnerships between law enforcement, between Board of County Commissioners, between school districts, friends of the library. I cannot thank you guys enough, because everything that we do out here, building libraries, building resource centers, helps with crime. It helps us as we continue to raise our families. It helps so much that, who's familiar with the computer game SimCity? It's a simulated city that you build. And every time you add a library to a community, it raises the culture level of that community. It does that because theoretically it reduces the crime. So what we're doing here, while this is no game, we're adding a resource to this area that we haven't had before. So the thought is that it's going to increase our culture, it's going to increase our literacy, it's going to decrease our crime. I'm very proud to be a part of this, and Janice, thank you very much. And now I'll turn it over to Janice Gilley.
Well, thank you so much. I think we've heard some great stories from our speakers today. The last thing I would just mention is I think that the location is so important, co-located near an elementary school, because as many of you know, you learn to read up until the 3rd grade, but for the rest of your life, you read to learn. And so that's why it's so important that we have it in this area, that these young people can have access to this, the families can have access to this, and the community can have access to this. Because our goal, as each of these gentlemen has stated, is to have a better community, more culturally educated, more literally educated, and just in general, just a better society for our community. And I think that libraries are absolutely a quintessential part of that particular part of our community. So with that, students, are you ready to come help us? All right, I think you're going to have some folks give you some instructions. We're going to go get our hats and our shovels together, and we're ready to do a groundbreaking.